All right, Jake Titus on the mound. Quick turnaround. The first pitch is swung on. That is to Pachorik at short. He hops one over to Santiago for the 6-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Martin. Logan Martin coming up.
Number 2, Logan Martin.
Martin will step in. Martin was 0 for 3 with a couple of pop outs and a ground out in the first game, and he is hit by a pitch. Jake Titus is from Ottawa, Kansas. He has a 6.07 ERA. His record is 2-1. He has 7 appearances with 13 and a third innings pitched. That's going to bring up Jace Arnold, the designated hitter. He struck out twice in the first game. He'll step in with a runner at first base and 1 out. Swing and a miss of that first pitch. Arnold bats with Martin down at first. There's a strike right through there. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock left to right across the outfield. Perry, Pachorik, Tolkien, Santiago with Colton Kirkham behind the plate catching the second game with Titus on the mound for the Blue Devils. There's a breaking ball. Stays up just a bit. 1-2 the count. The quick turnaround usually leaves the public address announcer and myself still writing down. There's a ground ball that's going to be picked up by Perry. And Perry throws back. But I agree with that call. The tag, the hand got past and into there. It looks like he was going to be dead to rights, but safe in at second base. On the throw behind him is Martin.
Number 16, Grayson Robertson.
So Robertson will step in now after that hit there by Arnold. Robertson was 0 for 3 in the first game with a fly out to right field and a ground out back to the pitcher. And there's a base hit right up the middle and sending him to home. And he's going to be out at home. So the throw, did that come straight from Dirks, guys? The throw from Dirks to Colton Kirkham at home to get him out at home. But Robertson with the base hit right back up the middle. So that'll bring up Moretto. Moretto, the second baseman. Moretto had a base hit and called out on strikes in the first game. One of the 2 hits, there's a ground unassisted to Santiago at first base. So no runs on 2 hits. And here in the first, the Red Devils have matched their output of hits, but still come up empty. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. No score. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the first inning. There's a strike right through there. Pachorik leading things off here for the Blue Devils. He was 1 for 3 with a base hit in the first game. Take outside there. So 1-1 the count. Breaking ball breaks way outside. Jarrett Bell is the pitcher. He is from Columbus, Nebraska. Tall righty on the mound. There's a ball headed to right field. We have a new right fielder this game. Just getting ready to look up who he is. He is Tyson Amenkra from Mississauga, Ontario.
27, Marcus Dirks.
So that's going to bring up Marcus Dirks. Dirks fouls that one away. Dirks was 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI in the first game. There's a foul ball, still trying to get everything lined out up here. So 0-2 the count on Dirks. That's high and inside. 1-0 the count. There's a check swing early. It's going to be hard to get that called down at first base on a left-handed hitter. 2-2 the count. And there is a standing double for Dirks into right center for the double. So that'll bring up Santiago. Santiago will step in with 1 out and a runner at second base. Santiago was 1 for 3 in the first game with a double into the right field corner. Swing and comes up empty with that first pitch. So a fly out to right and then a double into right center for Dirks and Santiago at the plate. Low and inside. Vickers behind the plate catching in this second game. Robers, Reinhardt, Amenkra across the outfield with Martin, Went, Moretta, and Robertson across the infield. Vickers behind the plate and Bell on the mound if I've got all those changes. I love it when someone out of the country is watching, and Steve up in Stittsville, Ontario. I like it. I appreciate you watching. 2-2 the count now on Santiago. Two balls, 2 strikes, and an out. Runner at second base. That's low and inside. So 3-2 the count on the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. That's up high for ball 4. So a 1-out walk issued to Santiago. That's going to bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth was 0 for 3 in the first game. He had extra bases taken away by the left fielder Lowe. He steps in with 1 out and 2 on. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 the count on the left fielder, Freddie Nolan the fourth. Breaking ball, that one sails just a little bit low. Bell has a 12.32 ERA. He is 1-3 on the season. Runners go on the pitch, and the ball headed over foul onto the soccer facility. Bell has 19 innings pitched with 8 appearances. There's a ball headed to deep center field. Going back deep is Reinhardt.
Go home. Go all the way home.
Headed over to third base is Dirks. So Nolan the fourth flies out to Reinhardt in center. So 2 outs now. That's going to bring up Perry. Perry was 2 for 3 in the first game, had a double, a single, and reached 1 time on a base on balls. Perry, the third baseman for the Blue Devils. There's a strike right at the top part of the zone. 0-1 the count. Dirks at third. Santiago at first. That's going to be taken in right field by the center fielder. So no runs on 1 hit. And at the end of 1 inning, no score. I'll be back. All right, first pitch is a ball to Tyson Amankra. He is the right fielder for the Red Devils in this second game. There's a swing and a miss of that pitch. Tyson Amankra starts the day batting .238. Did not have an at-bat in the first game. 1-1 the count on him here. There's a strike. Breaking ball catches the inside corner from Jake Titus. Breaking ball breaks outside. One ball, two strikes the count. 2-2, excuse me. Foul ball back to the screen. 94-mile-an-hour fastball right there. So Titus climbing up on that clock a little bit there. Here comes the 2-2 to Amankra, the right fielder. Stays up high. So the count goes full. Just misses a little bit outside. So a leadoff walk to Amankra. That's going to bring up Bjarne Reinhardt.
Center fielder number 12, Bjorn Reinhardt.
He starts the day batting .211. Ball breaks inside, just a little inside movement on that fastball. 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count, way outside for ball two. So Bjarne is spelled, see if I can find it real quick here, Bjarne, and his teammates just call him Barney. So 2-0 the count on Reinhardt. There's a breaking ball right through there for a strike. 2-1 the count on Reinhardt, the center fielder. Another breaking ball catches the outside corner. 2-2 the count now. That stays up high, so the count goes full. Goes from 2-0 to 2-2, now 3-2. Reinhardt at the plate for the Red Devils. Toss over to first, back in safely over there is Amankra. And the runner was off with the pitch and the base on balls. So back-to-back walks issued by Titus. That's going to bring up Lance Vickers. He's the catcher in this second game. Vickers started the day batting .182, squares to bunt, and comes up empty. Lance Vickers catching in the second game for the Red Devils. Runners at first and second, nobody out. There's a strike, catches the outside corner at the knees. So quickly 0-2 the count on Vickers. We'll see if the bunt is taken off. Santiago staying in close, not knowing if it's been taken off or not. Squares to bunt, takes high ball. 1-2 the count. So the bunt appeared to stay on even though there's 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch from Titus. Just a little bit low. 2-2 the count now. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. And the bunt is going to be foul. Therefore, the strikeout.
Number 1, Caden Wint.
So that'll bring up Wint. Wint was 0 for 2 with a fly out and a strikeout in the first game. There's a breaking ball right through there. 78-mile-an-hour breaking ball for a strike. Oh and 1 the count. Squares to bunt. Pulls back and takes a strike on the outside corner at the knees. That is 3 strikes in the last 2 batters that have been on the outside corner at the knees, and the bat was pulled back. 0-2 the count here. Breaking ball with the ground ball. Pachorik up with it and over to second base for the fielder's choice. So Wint able to stay out of the double play.
Number 23, Mace Rovers.
So that's going to be back to the top of the order. Robers was the catcher in the first game. He is the left fielder this game. Throw over to first, back in safely. Another toss over to first. Robers is from Loudenberg in the Netherlands. Two outs, runners at the corners now with Mace Roberts. Must have been up or out, not sure. Pretty good looking pitch there that appeared to be called strikes earlier. One and 0 the count. Swing and a miss of that heater. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. Top of the second inning action. The ground ball headed at Pachorik and over to Talk for the fielder's choice. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. No score in this one.
DH, Ian Woida.
All right, here we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Woida will step in to lead things off here for the Blue Devils. Woida was 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles, 1 for 2 RBI and 1 for the walk-off RBI in the first game to make it a 10-run rule. That's high and inside for ball one. Woida also had a walk in that first game. That ball breaks a little bit low, so 2-0 the count on Woida. Swing and a miss of that heater there. 2-1 the count on Woida. Low and outside. So 3-1 the count now. Swing and a miss. There's a ball headed into right. Get a nice jump on that. Did Armencraw for the catch for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Kirkham. Kirkham will step in for his first at bat of the day, the catcher here in this second game. Takes a breaking ball across the outside half of the plate. Kirkham starts the day batting .222. As a breaking ball headed over to the soccer complex. Quickly 0-2 the count on Kirkham, so he eases in toward the plate a little closer, and that ball's in the dirt. One and two the count. That's up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. That ball is either up or in. 3-2 the count on Kirkham. Breaking ball hit into left field. That's going to be a base hit for Kirkham. That's in front of Robert Robers in left field. So Kirkham with the base hit into left.
Right fielder John Kaimi.
That's going to bring up Kaimi. Kaimi is playing in right field this game. Kaimi starts the day batting .259. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. Owen won the count on Kaimi, the right fielder. Toss over to first. Nothing going on over there. Kirkham back in easily. There's a breaking ball right back through there for a strike. So 0-2 the count. There's outside. One and two. The ball headed over toward the second baseman. He was played shaded over toward second, so Moretto takes that and goes right on over to first base for the 4-3 ground out. So that's going to bring up Tolk. Tolk will step in with a runner at second base and 2 outs. Tolk was 0 for 3 in the first game with a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Runner in scoring position is Kirkham. Comes the 0-1 from Bell. So ground ball, that's going to be cut off by Martin. And getting down the line quick is Tolk, but out for the 5-3 ground out. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on. We go to the top of the 3rd inning, no score. Back to the mound is Titus. High and inside that first pitch on Logan Martin. Martin is from Missouri City, Texas. He was hit by a pitch his first at bat this game. There's a high chopper. Pachorik launches a high pitch and a high throw. So that was going to be probably a base hit up the middle anyway. The good throw might have gotten him. Looks like it's going to be a scored in air for the time being on the throw. Pachorik's arm is so good that many times he can make up for that. And I think what the scorer is thinking here is had that not been a high throw, he'd have had him. So an error for the time being, may stay that way. Breaking ball stays up high. That first pitch to Arnold is a ball. Arnold is from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. That ball stays inside. 2-0 the count. Runner at second base is Martin. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Arnold had a base hit his first time up. 2-1 the count on him. Blue Devils won the first game 10-0. Squared the bunt. The bunt is back to the pitcher, and the runner did not head on over to third. I think what Coach Harris is telling him, hey, we bunted and gave up that out for a reason. You're getting over here. 99 times out of 100, a ball back to the pitcher, even though they might have a chance to get him out, they're going to go to first base. It's just safer that way. Fouled back and out of play is that pitch
Batter's number 16, Grayson Robertson.
to Robertson. Robertson, the first baseman. He's from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So 0-1 with one out to him. He had a base hit right back up the middle his first time. There's a breaking ball, catches the inside corner, but on that hit up the middle, Dirks throws out the runner at home, which was Logan Martin for the out. 0-2 the count on Robertson. Grabbed a little bit of extra there. That was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball there, but down low, 1-2 the count. Breaking ball heading deep to left. And that's going to be down and in the corner, so extra bases. As the score runs, a run at home is Martin scores on the Robertson double.
Number 25, Mickey Moretto.
So the double by Robertson. It's going to bring up Moretto. Moretto is from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Not sure if this is, there's several Canada players on Allen's team. Not sure if this is Chris's son that's up there left-handed. 2-0 the count now on him. He grounded out to Santiago unassisted his first time up. Robertson at second base. One run in on his double. That ball just misses. Pretty good pitch right there on somebody as tall as Moretto. We're going to get a quick visit to the mound from Coach Goldbeck. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Visit to the mound is over. 3-0 the count. Ball 4, low and outside. So a 1-out walk.
27, Tyson Amencroft.
Way up high to Armencroft. He reached on a base on balls his first time up. He is from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. So many Canadian players on this team. There's somebody probably saying, nah, that's not pronounced correctly. Mississauga. There's a wild pitch all the way back to the screen, and moving over to third is Robertson. Ammoncraw walked his first time up. 2-0 the count on him here with just one out. One run in for the Red Devils. They lead 1-0. There is a swing. Check swing, couldn't help himself. So 2-1 the count. Top of the third inning action, one out. Runners at second and third. It's outside. Fastball at 90 miles an hour, but way outside. 2-1 the count. 3-1 the count, excuse me. Jake Titus on the mound. In a bit of a pickle here with one out and runners on second and third. There's a breaking ball, just catches the outside corner. Ammoncraw started to head down, kind of cocked his head sideways, saying, it sure looked outside to me, but nonetheless called a strike. 3-2 the count. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. Needed strikeout right there.
Batter number 12, Bjarne Reinhardt.
Bjarne Reinhardt. He is from Gullikirchen, Germany. Swing and a miss. He walked his first time up. Owen won the count. Swing and a miss, so quickly 0-2 the count on Reinhardt. Reinhardt, the center fielder. It's outside. 1-2 the count. One ball, two strikes, two outs, two on, one run in for the Red Devils. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. I was afraid to jinx him and say when he was one strike away from getting out of it with only one run in. We go to the bottom half of the third inning. The Red Devils leading the Blue Devils 1-0. All right, back to the top of the order. Pachorik, Dirks, and Santiago scheduled up. Pachorik is from Aurora, Colorado. Fouls that first pitch back into the screen. 0-1 the count. Jarrett Bell back for another inning of work. The ground ball headed at the shortstop, went and over to Robertson for the 6-3 ground out.
27, Marcus Dirks.
So that'll bring up Dirks. Dirks is from Kansas City, Kansas. Takes ball one. Dirks had a double into right center his first time up. There's a ball that's going to be down in front of Robers, who came across in front of Reinhardt, and Dirks has another base hit. That one into the left center gap.
26, Frankie Santiago.
It's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago is from Calle, Puerto Rico. There's a ball headed into that same gap that Dirks had his double in the time before.
22, Freddie Nolan the fourth.
So that's going to bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is from Fort Worth, Texas. Got my attention split onto something else. One out, runners at first and second. Breaking ball, and he fouls it back into the screen. He flew out to Reinhardt in center field his first time up. Infield plays Nolan the fourth to pull. The outfield plays him the opposite way. Reinhardt over in right center. That ball's up high. Can see Reinhardt in right center there. Kind of hard to see on the glare of that camera. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. That's outside for 2-1 the count. Early going in this one. Red Devils with a 1-0 lead as the Blue Devils bat in the bottom of the third. Turn back to second base. Nothing going on back there. Dirks at second. Santiago at first. Nolan the fourth at the plate. That ball's outside. That's that outside pitch that everybody wants when they're pitching, but when they're batting, they don't want that one called. 3-1 the count. Runners go. It's a ground ball up the middle, and it's going to be a high throw, so that's going to be in the air. It's going to be in the air on the second baseman, Moretto. He cuts in front of second base to cut that off, but when he lets the throw go, he throws it high. So that's going to bring up Cade Perry. Perry is from Omaha, Nebraska. He steps in with 1 out and runners at second and third, all tied up at 1 now. That's up high for ball 1. 1-0 the count. I think that he dropped that ball and picked it up on the backside. Any of you think that, or do you think he had it?
I didn't see after what I thought would have caught it.
I thought he had it caught, but then it looked like it may have come out, and nonetheless, it's called it out on the fly ball to Reinhardt in center field. That's going to bring up Woida. I think the outfield camera of the Aware cameras will show what happened with that, but ruled it out. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He flew out to Amencraw in right field his first time up in as he led off the second inning for the Blue Devils. That misses outside. Nonetheless, Cade Perry's fly was a sac fly that brought in a run, so the Blue Devils have taken a 2-1 lead on the sac fly. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner for a strike. 2-1 the count. Comes the pitch from Bell. That's up high. 3-1 the count. Ian Woida, the designated hitter at the plate. The ball hit into deep right field, and that's going to be taken by the center fielder, Reinhardt. So the Blue Devils get 2 runs on 2 hits. And we go to the top of the 4th inning. The Blue Devils now leading 2-1. I'll be back. Pitching change made by the Blue Devils. Gavin Killian comes in. He's from Hughesville, Missouri. Killian has a 3.67 ERA. 4-2 is his record. He has 42 2/3 inning pitched on 10 appearances. He'll take the mound here in the top of the 4th inning. Vickers went and back to Robers at the top of the order. Ground ball at Perry. Perry's up with it and over to Santiago for the 5-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Wint. Wint is from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Strike is called. He reached on a 6-4 shortstop over to second base fielder's choice. His first time up. That's down low. 1-1 the count. Killian on in relief for Titus. Titus went 3 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits. Way outside, 2-1 the count. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield. Perry, Pachorik, Tolk, and Santiago across the infield with Kirkham behind the plate. It's a ground ball. Pachorik circles, loads up the rifle, throws a short hop over to Santiago. Santiago picks out one right there that was not the easy short hop, a little longer, but yet not long enough to make it easy, but still the 6-3 ground out.
Who's this? Oh. Number 23, Mace Robers.
So Robers back to the top of the order with 2 outs to face Killian. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Check swing. Couldn't help it, but he did. 0-2 the count. Robers has grounded out twice. That's in the dirt, 1-2 the count. Twice to Pachorik at short. Once took the easy route to Tolk at second, the other time over to Santiago. So a 6-4 and a 6-3, his 2. There's a ground ball that's going to get through the hole. Be a 2-out base hit. It's going to bring up Logan Martin.
Number 2, Logan Martin.
Martin has been hit by a pitch, but was erased trying to score on a base hit by Robertson. And then he reached on an error by the shortstop. His second time. There's a ground ball headed at Tolk. Tolk just steps on second base for the fielder's choice. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. 1 left on for the Red Devils. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Blue Devils leading 2-1. Stay with us. We got a good one. All right, to the bottom of the 4th we go. Kirkham, Kaimi, and Tolk scheduled up. Ball stays inside, 1-0 the count. Kirkham is from Platte City, Missouri. He had a base hit to left field his first time up in this one. He's the catcher of the second game, and there he's hit by a pitch. So a leadoff hit by a pitch, and that's going to bring up John Kaimi.
Number 18, John Kaimi.
Kaimi's from Kansas City, Missouri. He grounded out to Moretto at second base his first time up. Squares to bunt. The bunt is down to the first base side. Pitcher is going to glove the ball. So Bell with the glove and underhands it right on over to Robertson. But the sac bunt by Kaimi. I see the Blue Devils do a nice job bunting to the first base side. That's something they put an emphasis on. You sometimes can end up with hits over there while you're trying to sack. And a rocket by Tolk at the third baseman Martin for a line drive out. So back to the top of the order and Pachorik. Pachorik's been out on a fly to right field in the first and grounded out to Wint at short in the third. Breaking ball sweeps way outside. 1-0 the count. That's way outside. The pitcher, James Bell, is from Columbus, Nebraska. I don't know that I got to that at the beginning of the game. We had the quick start. We had a hard time getting everything going because it's so quick of a turnaround as far as when we get the lineups from the coaches. That's high and inside. No, that is a strike called. Inside part of the plate, 2-1 the count. There's a ground ball up the middle, gets by the pitcher. That's taken by Moretto, and he's over to Robertson for the 4-3 ground out. So the Blue Devils get no runs on no hits. Had one left on after they hit by a pitch. And we go to the top of the fifth inning. 9-inning scheduled game. First game was an intended 7, but the Blue Devils won in 5. We go to the top of the fifth. Blue Devils leading 2-1. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the fifth we go. Arnold, Robertson, and Moretto scheduled up for the Red Devils. They trail 2-1 here in the top of the fifth. Arnold has a base hit and a ground back to the pitcher, ground out. In this one, there's a swing and a miss for strike one. 0-1 the count. That's in the dirt. Each team with 4 hits, each team with an error. Blue Devils with 2 runs, Red Devils with 1. 1-1 the count on the DH, Arnold. Swing and a miss, 87 mile an hour pitch right there. So 1-2 the count now. Top of the fifth inning. Foul ball back to the screen. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield left to right. Perry, Pachurik, Tolkien, Santiago left to right across the infield. With Kirkham behind the plate and Killian on in relief of Titus. Foul ball in between Coach Harris and Perry down at third. One and two pitch. Fly ball down the right field line, and that is a home run down the right field line. You can see that it's 375 out away, but it comes back in tight. And the opposite field, home run by Arnold. Ties this thing back up. So that'll bring up Robertson.
Batting number 16, Grayson Robertson.
Robertson has a base hit in the first and an RBI double in the third. In this one, there's a strike at the belt on the outside corner. His base hit up the middle looked like it might score a run, but Dirks throws out Martin at home. Swing and a miss. Behind on that heater right there. 0-2 the count. The ball hit it a little soft line drive to Pachurik at short.
Number 25, Nicky Moretto.
That's going to bring up Moretto. He's grounded out to first in the first and walked in the third. That's down low for ball one. Sun trying to peek out, getting through the clouds, but not creating much light. Plenty of light, just not enough brightness, really. For my cameras, that's the way I like it, but obviously the coaches like for it to be warmer than this, even for their pitchers' arms. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 run in on the home run by Arnold. It's a fly ball into left field. That's going to be taken by Nolan the fourth. That's going to bring up Ammon Craw, excuse me.
Tyson Ammoncraw.
Ammon Craw walked in the second, struck out in the third. He's the right fielder. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. There's a strike at the belt, outside corner, 0-1 the count. That's low and outside. 1-1 the count. Low and inside. Killian on the mound. On in relief of Titus. Titus went 3 innings. There's a strike called outside corner at the knees. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. All tied at 2. And the swing and a miss. So 1 run on 1 hit. No errors, nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Actually, bottom of the fifth inning. We've made it halfway through this one. We're all tied up at 2. We'll be back. All right, to the bottom of the fifth we go.
27, Marcus Dirks.
Dirks will lead things off here for the Blue Devils. He got a double in the first and a single in the third. 2 for 2 in this one so far. Squares to bunt. Bunt is down, and he's going to be safe. Pitcher off the mound. That's going to be a bunt hit for Marcus Dirks. So the leadoff runner is on. That's going to bring up Santiago.
26, Frankie Santiago.
Santiago walked in the first, had a single into right center in the third. Runner goes, and I never did see that. Did he ever motion safe? I guess I didn't look up soon enough. 0-1 the count. Stolen base by Dirks. So a swing and a miss there, and quickly 0-2 the count. So how much of a weapon is that? The perfect bunt and enough speed to get the base hit, then steal the base, and you're down at second with nobody out. There's a ball into right field. Dirks is going to. That ball gets underneath and headed home. So going to hold him at third. That's going to be a base hit with an error that allows him to move on over to third is going to be my guess.
22,
So the base hit and the RBI puts the Blue Devils up 3-2. We're going to get a pitching change, see if I can get a camera chosen to kind of let you see what's going on. We're going to get a pitching change. Blue Devils still with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. We're a little over halfway through this one. Blue Devils lead to 3-2. Pitching change for the Red Devils. We'll be back. Pitching change has been made by the Red Devils. Number 18, Brody Gleason, comes in. He is from Carbondale, Kansas. His numbers are as follows. There he is, 11.81 ERA, 0-1 is his record. 6 appearances, 5 1/3 innings pitched. So that'll bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth will step in with nobody out and a runner at third base. Nolan the fourth has been out on a fly to center field, and he reached on an error by the second baseman. That error did yield a run. There's a ball nicely blocked by Vickers. The dreaded curveball that only goes 57.5 feet. But a nice job by Vickers to keep that in front and save the run. That's high and outside. Two and 0 the count. Runner at third. Nolan the fourth at the plate. That's a little bit outside. Nice job by Vickers trying to make that look like a strike, but it was a little bit outside. 3 and 0 the count now. On Nolan the fourth. Swing and a miss. A lot of people would say a walk's as good as a hit, but in this situation, the walk does not. Three and one, and there's ball four.
Third baseman Cade Harry.
All right, sorry, away with a little technical trouble there. We get back-to-back walks, one after a stolen base by Nolan the fourth, then Perry walks, and that's going to bring up Woida. Quick voice visit to the mound. I'll be back. All right, first to pitch to Woida was a ball, 1-0 the count. Nobody out, bases are loaded. There's a strike that catches the outside corner. 1-1 the count. Bases full of Blue Devils. Red Devils trying to shut things down. There's a breaking ball, sails just a little bit outside. So 2-1 the count on Woida. This second game, Woida's been out on fly balls in the second and in the third. Swinging a miss of that breaking ball. So 2-2 the count. Woida was 2 for 3 in the first game with a couple of doubles. 2 RBI on one and 1 RBI on the other. Comes the wind in, the 2-2 from Gleason. There's a ball headed deep to left. I think that ball will be out. And yes, it is. So the grand slam home run by Woida. So Woida with the grand slam. That's going to bring up Kirkham. That makes it 7-2 the lead. Got his arms extended on that ball right there and drove it out to left field. Kirkham has a base hit in the second and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. There's a ball all the way back to the screen by Gleason. Gleason on in relief of Bell. Bell went 4 innings, ended up being responsible for 4 runs. There's a strike called. 2-1 the count. I just know 2-1's what the umpire put up. I've been distracted, but so 2-2 the count here. Now he's got 3-1. Kirkham, the catcher in this second game. My apologies for the change there. Kirkham's going to hustle down on the base on balls. So Kirkham 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch, a walk, and a base hit. That's going to bring up Kaimi. Going to get a visit to the mound.
Batting number 18, John Kaimi.
Looks like we're going to get a pitching change. We will get that information and be back. Blue Devils have taken a 7-2 lead with an RBI by Santiago and a grand slam by Woida. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Pitching change has been made, bringing in a left-hander. The left-hander is number 8, Carter Germain. Jermaine is from Maple Ridge, British Columbia. He will take on the duties for Jermaine. The lefty comes in. Brody Gleason is not able to record an out and gives up 3 runs. He's still responsible for the runner at first base. Kaimi is coming to the plate. Kaimi has a sac bunt to his credit in the 4th and grounded out to Moretto at second base in the 2nd inning. Runner goes and strike is called on the inside corner. So Kirkham with the stolen base. I thought we might see a sac bunt attempt there, but they figure they might be able to just steal the base, and they did. So now a runner in scoring position is Kirkham with Kaimi at the plate. That stays up high. 1-1 the count. There he squares to bunt, and he's hit by a pitch. I was just thinking that where Moretto is playing clear over by second base, if you could get the bunt headed towards second base and get it past the pitcher, you'd not only get the runner to third, but you would likely be safe as well. So that's going to bring up Tolk. Tolk's up there with nobody out and runners at first and second. He squares to bunt, and that's going to be off the pitcher's glove. Going to be, oh my gosh, out at second base. I believe he missed that one down there, but nonetheless, when the ball pops out of the glove, that is a great job by the catcher Vickers to get the ball down to Martin, and Martin over to Moretto for the 2-5-4 double play. You don't have that happen very often. And then back to the top of the order and Pachorik. That ball is inside. Pachorik 0 for 3 in this second game. He was out on a fly in the first and ground outs in the 3rd and the 4th. He's the number 9 hitter to come to the plate for the Blue Devils. Runner goes, that's up high, and going to be out at second base. So caught stealing is a Blue Devil. So the Blue Devils do get 5 runs on 1, 2, 3, 5 runs on 3 hits. And we go to the top of the 6th inning with the Blue Devils leading 7-2. I'll be back. All right, back to the top of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 7-2 now. Reinhardt, Vickers, and Wint scheduled up for the Red Devils. Swings through that breaking ball, does Reinhardt.
12 yard. Reinhardt.
Reinhardt has walked and struck out in this game. He's the center fielder in this second game. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 0-2 the count. That's in the dirt. Have two different scoreboards being kept up here in the press box, so they do a pretty good job of keeping each other in line and on point. 1-2 the count on Reinhardt. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. It's going to bring up Vickers. Vickers is the catcher of this second game.
Lance Vickers.
Vickers steps in with one out and nobody on. There's a strike to him. He was out on the bunt, foul ball strikeout in the second, and then grounded out to Perry at third in the fourth. So 0 for 2 in this one. There's a ball at Perry. Perry loads up the rifle and shoots it across to Santiago for the 5-3 ground out. So 0 for 3 in this one is Vickers. That's going to bring up Wint.
Shortstop Caden Wint.
Wint reached on a fielder's choice in the second and grounded out to Pachorik. Both ground outs and fielder's choice have been to Pachorik. That's low and outside for ball one. Fielder's choice was in the second and a straight ground out, 6-3 to Santiago from Pachorik in the fourth. That's outside. So 2-0 the count. That misses low and inside. So 3-0 the count. Check on the check swing, ruled a ball, so 3-0. Killian on in relief of Titus. There's a strike inside half of the plate at the knees. Comes the 3-1. It's a high chopper. Foul over by third. Three balls, two strikes, two outs, nobody on. Top of the sixth inning action. Blue Devils leading 7-2. Ball's going to be cut off by Perry. The running throw, and that's taken by Santiago for the 5-3 ground out. So a strikeout and a couple of ground outs to Perry. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. Blue Devils leading 7-2. All right, here we go. Back to the top of the order. Pachorik was up when a caught stealing happened at second base. New pitcher in number 31. We do not have a 31 on the either scorecard or the roster that is online. There's a swing and a miss. So quickly 0-2 on Pachorik. Pachorik's been out on a fly and a couple of ground outs. That's up high, 1-2 the count. Two and two the count now. Pachorik leading off the bottom of the sixth inning. 9-inning scheduled game. Blue Devils up 7-2. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be taken by Emmencraw for the first out of the inning.
27, Marcus Dirks.
That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks has a double in the first, a single in the third, and a bunt hit in to lead off actually the fifth inning. There's a fly ball into right field. And that's going to be taken also by Emmencraw. So back-to-back flyouts to right field. That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago reached on a base on balls in the first, at a base hit in the third, and an RBI base hit in the fifth. Takes ball 1-0 the count on the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. There's a hit by a pitch. That'll bring up Nolan the fourth.
22, Freddie, Nolan the fourth.
Nolan the fourth was out on a fly in the first, reached on an error that yielded a run in the third, and walked in the fifth and had a stolen base. He's up there. There's a strike inside corner at the knees. Strike called. 0-1 the count on the left fielder, Nolan the fourth. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. Nolan the fourth at the plate. Runner at first base is Santiago. He was hit by a pitch. That's in the dirt. 1-2 the count.
I'm just really good at making Jerry smile, am I?
And back-to-back hit by pitch. So to start the inning, we get back-to-back flyouts to right field, and now back-to-back hit by pitch. That's going to bring up Cade Perry. Perry's had a fly out to center field in the first, a sac fly to center field in the third, and a base on balls in the fifth. He's up there with 2 outs and 2 on. That's up high for ball 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a ball headed into the left field corner. That's going to score 2 runs. And into second base with the 2 RBI double is Perry. So Perry makes it 9-2. So that will bring up Woida. Woida was out on a fly in the second, out on a fly in the third, but in the fifth he had a grand slam to left field. He will step in with a runner at second base and 2 outs. That's down a little bit low for ball one. 1-0 the count on Ian Woida. One and oh the count. There's a ball headed into left center gap. That's going to be taken by Robers. So a fly out to 7 in left field. So the Blue Devils get 2 runs on 1 hit. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. Blue Devils leading 9-2. All right, to the top of the 7th inning we go. Killian back for another inning of work. This is his 4th inning of work. Blue Devils with the 9-2 lead here in the top of the 7th inning. We will have scheduled up back to the top of the order with Robers, Martin, and Arnold scheduled up for the Red Devils. So the Blue Devils hosting the Red Devils from Allen Community College in Iola, Kansas. Last Saturday night, we went to a Elton John impersonator in Iola, Kansas at the Performing Arts Center there. Was an interesting evening. Rober steps in, takes a strike inside half of the plate. Roberts grounded out in the first, grounded out in the second, had a base hit through the hole between Pachorik and Perry in the fourth. There's a ball headed deep to right center and headed for third base is Robers. Robers with the leadoff triple.
Number 2, Logan Martin.
So Logan Martin will step in with a runner at third base and nobody out after that leadoff triple by Mace Robers. He was the catcher of the first game, playing in left field in this one. Martin steps in. That's outside for ball one. Martin was hit by a pitch in the first, reached on an error by Pachorik in the third, and was out on a fielder's choice to the second baseman Tolk for an assisted. There's a ground ball at Pachorik. Pachorik up with it and over to Santiago. So a productive out for Martin. He's out 6-3, but able to score the run to make it a 9-3 game. That'll bring up Jace Arnold. Arnold had a base hit in the first, grounded back to the pitcher in the third, which would have been Killian, and then had a home run in the fifth down the right field line, so went opposite field for his home run. He takes a ball, 1-0 the count. Top of the seventh inning action, 9 innings scheduled game. Foul ball back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 run in on the Martin ground out to Pachorik. It's a ground ball. Nice hop for Perry. Perry loads up the rifle, throws a one hopper, and not able to scoop that one with Santiago, so that's going to be an error on the third baseman, Perry. So now a runner at first with one out. That's going to bring up Robertson. Robertson has had a single in the first, an RBI double in the third, and then a soft line drive to Pachorik at shortstop in the fifth. There's a fair ball to Pachorik, to Perry at third. So reaching on the fielder's choice is Robertson. So the second out of the inning.
25, Mickey Moretto.
That's going to bring up Mickey Moretto, the second baseman. He grounded out to Santiago unassisted in the first, walked in the third, flew out to left field in the fifth. There's a swing and a miss for strike one. 0-1 the count on Moretto. There's a high fly ball into left field. Coming in to take care of that is Nolan the fourth. So one run on one hit. And we go to the bottom of the seventh inning with the Blue Devils leading 9-3. Starting to kind of cloud back up again. All the rain for this weekend's probably getting closer. We'll be back. Blue Devils leading 9-3. All right. To the bottom of the seventh we go. Blue Devils leading 9-3. Colton Kirkham steps in to lead things off here in the bottom of the seventh. Takes that ball and heads it for the visitors' bullpen down there. 0-1 the count on Kirkham. He has a base hit in the second, hit by a pitch in the fourth, hit base on balls in the fifth with a stolen base. That's up high for ball one, 1-1 the count. There's a foul ball headed for what might be the woods, but it might have stayed in the soccer field. 1-2 the count on the catcher. Colton Kirkham in tight on the batter's box now, in tight on the plate, and that's high and outside. 2-2 the count. Kirkham, the catcher, leading off the bottom of the seventh inning for the Blue Devils. Catcher of the second game. There's a ground ball that's going to be taken by Went, and he went over to Robertson for the 6-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Kaimi. Kaimi will step in with one out and nobody on. Kaimi grounded out in the second, had a sack bunt in the fourth, and was hit by a pitch in the fifth. 0-1 the count on him. That's up high, but tomahawked into right field. So Kaimi takes a pitch that's up a little bit and drives it into right center for the one-out base hit.
Second baseman Sawyer Tolk.
That's going to bring up Tolk. Tolk grounded out in the second, lined out to third base in the fourth, hit into a 2-5-4 double play in the fifth. Oh, and 1 the count on the second baseman, Sawyer Tolk. Way outside, backhand, back in safely is Kaimi. It's going to be taken by the pitcher right on pitcher's mound is Robertson, taken by the first baseman on pitcher's mound. So a fly out to the first baseman, Robertson, right on the mound, and there's 2 outs with the runner at first. Back to the top of the order, and Pachorik. 2 outs now. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. Pachorik 0 for 4. Flew out in the first, ground out in the third, ground out in the fourth, and a fly out in the sixth. That's low and outside, so I'm sure Tanner would like to get off of that 0 for. He doesn't do that very often. So 1-1 the count on him. There's a ball headed into shallow right center. So he gets the base hit. Into center field, a little toward right field. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks is 3 for 4 with a double, a single, a bunt single, and a fly out to right field. Two outs. There's a strike outside corner at the belt. 0-1 the count. Comes the 0-1 pitch. Foul ball. So Kaimi at second base. Pachorik at first. Dirks at the plate. 0-2 the count. Way outside. Ball pops off the glove of Vickers, but not far enough for Kaimi to head to third. One and two now on the center fielder, Marcus Dirks. That's up high. Vickers throws that thing down to second and forces Went to hustle into the bag. Went has been seen playing right up the middle or just barely to the opposite side. That's outside. So 3-2 the count. Runners will be going. The shortstop Went playing right straight behind second base. Moretto clear over into shallow right field, but close to first base. And there is ball four. Vickers thought that he had the strikeout.
26, Frankie Santiago.
So that'll bring up Santiago. Santiago steps in with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
That's it. I'm calling it too.
He has a couple of base hits and a hit by pitch. Reached on a base on balls his first time up. Oh and 1 on Santiago. That's outside. 1-1 the count. Bases full of Blue Devils. Swing and a miss of that heater there. 1-2 the count now. It's interesting today that the Blue Devils are wearing red jerseys playing against the Red Devils. 1-2 the count now on Santiago. Santiago fouls that one right back at the luxury suite over to the left of me. Another coaching box over there. 1-2 the count. That's up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning action. Bases full of Blue Devils. Santiago at the plate. That's high and inside. So now 3-2 the count, so the runners will be off with the pitch. 9-3 the lead. And the swing and the miss for the strikeout. So the Blue Devils get 1 run on 2 hits. They have a 9-3 lead as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Pitching change has been made as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Caden Howell, number 50 from Lansing, Kansas, comes in. The book closes on Killian. He gives up no runs on 2 hits in his 3 innings of work. Actually, 4 innings of work.
Number 27, Tyson Amencraw.
That's going to bring up Amencraw. He has walked once and struck out twice. He'll face Howell. Howell has a 2.25 ERA. 1-2 is his record. 14 appearances, 16 innings pitched. There's a breaking ball, catches the bottom edge of the zone in the middle. Oh, and 2 the count. Outside. 92-mile-an-hour fastball right there. 1-2 the count. Tried to get that outside corner and set him down. Here comes the 1-2 and in the dirt. So 0-2 to 2-2 now as Ammoncraw leads off the top of the 8th inning for the Red Devils. That's down low. Kirkham with the effort to bring that up, make it look like a strike, but the umpire was not buying that one. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss. 92-mile-an-hour heater for the strikeout. That's going to bring up Reinhardt.
A batting center fielder, Bjorn Reinhardt.
So Reinhardt will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Reinhardt is the same as Ammoncraw. He has a walk and 2 strikeouts. 1-0 the count on him. Foul ball headed over to the soccer field. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Down low. That's what when he raised it up in the air, I'm sure he's thinking, I got this one. Little does he know there's a Blue Devil headed over to snag that ball from him. 2-1 the count now on the center fielder Reinhardt. That fades outside. Check of the swing. Safe on the check swing. So 3-1 the count on Reinhardt. That's down low for a ball. So a 1-out walk issued to Reinhardt. That's going to bring up Vickers.
Number 4, Lance Vickers.
Vickers was victim of a bunt foul ball strikeout in the second and grounded out to Perry twice, once in the 4th and once in the 6th. There's a breaking ball right through there at 81 miles an hour for the strike called. 0-1 the count. Comes the 0-1 from Howell. Then comes back with the 92-mile-an-hour fastball outside half of the plate, and he fouls it back off the glove of Kirkham and back to the screen. Runner at first base after the walk to Reinhardt. There's a ball that is driven down the left field line. That's going to be foul. So the breaking ball inside, and he couldn't wait long enough. Fouls it away down the left field line. Comes the 0-2 again. It's a high fly ball lifted into left field. That's going to be taken by Dirks for the second out of the inning.
Shortstop, Caden Wint.
It's going to bring up Wint. Wint reached on a fielder's choice in the second. Grounded out to Pachorik at short in the 4th. And to Perry, he grounded out in the 6th. 0 for 3. There's a check swing ball headed over to the soccer field. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Devils leading 9-3. They won the first game 10-0 in 5. Nicely blocked by Kirkham right there on that curveball way outside. Blue Devils won 2 games down at Iola yesterday, 13-6, 13-6. There's a toss over to first. Back in safely is Reinhardt. 1-1 the count to Wint. There's a ball that's into the bullpen for the visitors. 1-2 the count. 2 outs, top of the 8th inning action. Outside. 1-2 the count now. Runner at first base, 2 outs. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be extra bases. So an RBI double for Caden Wint.
23, Mace Rovers.
So Mace Robers will come up back to the top of the order. He's 2 for 4 so far on the day. Couple of ground outs, a base hit. His last at bat was a triple. Breaking ball outside. 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0 from Hal. There's a strike, catches the outside corner at the knees. 1-1 the count, 2 outs, runner at second base, 1 run in on the double by Caden Wint. Breaking ball, strike called. So 1-2 the count.
How much did he get paid by Miami to go there?
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second base. Breaking ball out in front of it. That's over the top of the coach, Trey Harris. He's the interim head coach at this time. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Swing and a miss. Going to throw down to finish that does Colton. So Rober strikes out. So the Red Devils get 1 run on 1 hit. Makes it 9-4. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Blue Devils leading 9-4. All right, Grayson Robertson comes in from first base to pitch, and the designated hitter Jace Arnold will be at first base. The first pitch is a strike to Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth, Perry and Woida scheduled up for the Blue Devils. There's a strike right on the outside corner. So quickly 0-2 the count to Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is 0 for 2 in this game. He was hit by a pitch, and 1-2 the count now on him. He was hit by a pitch. He walked and had a stolen base. He reached on an error that yielded a run. That's up high. So from 0-2 to 2-2 on the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the eighth for the Blue Devils, Freddie Nolan the fourth. Ball stays up high and inside, so 3-2 the count on Nolan the fourth. Foul ball down the right field line. That's down in toward the woods. So we'll do the 3-2 again. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming. That's up high and outside for base on balls. So a leadoff walk issued to Nolan the fourth. It's going to bring up Cade Perry. Perry is 1 for 2, had a sac fly, a walk, the sac fly for an RBI, and then a double for 2 RBI, and he's hit by a pitch. That'll bring up Woida. Woida is 1 for 4 in this game, but his one was in the fifth inning for a grand slam home run. He'll step in with runners at first and second, nobody out. Way outside. It's going to be a wild pitch. Wild pitch is going to allow both runners to move up. So 1-0 the count on Woida. That's up high. 2-0 the count. Comes the 2-0. There's a ball headed into center field. And Nolan the fourth scores on the base hit by Woida. So that's going to bring up Kirkham.
32, Colton Kirkham.
Kirkham, he is 1 for 2. Had a base hit by a pitch, and reached on a base on balls and had a stolen base. 1 for 2 on the day is Kirkham in this second game as the catcher. And he's hit by a pitch. So that's going to load the bases up. We're going to get a visit to the mound. Have a pitcher warming up in the bullpen, but I don't think he's had enough time to get ready, so I think this is to buy a little bit of time. We'll see if he has enough time to get ready. Trying to catch his number down there. I believe it to be number 32, not for positive, but 32 is Brannick Blankenship from Blue Springs, Missouri. So That's going to bring up Kaimi. Kaimi's going to be up there with nobody out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a sack bunt here and it get past the pitcher and be safe at first with a run scored, but we'll see. That's high and inside, 1-0 the count on Kaimi. Kaimi is 1 for 2 with a sack, a hit by pitch, and a base hit. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Believe the count to be 1-1. Yes, that's correct. 1-1, bases loaded. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 1-2 the count. There's a ball right back up off the pitcher and going to go to home, and very fortunate that the catcher Vickers did not have his foot on the plate, and when he brought it up and put it back down, he didn't look back, but he did get the plate. So the 1-2 fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, Sawyer Tolk. Tolk is 0 for 4. He did hit into an interesting 2-5-4 double play. He bunted and the ball was out of the catcher's, into the catcher's hand after the pitcher on the ground, through to third and then to second to finish the double play. There's high and inside for the second ball to Sawyer Tolk. Comes the 2-0. There's a strike at the knees, outside corner. 2-1 the count. The wind in the pitch by Robertson. That's down low, 3-1 the count. Bases are full of Blue Devils. Comes the 3-1. Stays up high. So a base on balls is going to yield a run. That's going to make it 11-4. Back to the top of the order, and Pachorik will step in. He's 1 for 5. His last at bat, he had a base hit. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. 0-1 the count. Blue Devils leading 11-4. They bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, just a little bit foul down the right field line. Just took a shot at right field, and it was about a foot foul. That's up high. Getting a funny cast of colors on two of my cameras being different. Not able to do anything different with it. There's a ball that's headed into the left field corner. That's going to score 1. Scores 2. And Coach Goldbeck, as he's holding him up, looked back just as he bobbled it. And that's 2 runs in on the double into the left field corner.
27, Marcus Dirks.
So 2 runs in, and that's going to bring up Dirks.
Don't worry, I promise the safety squeeze isn't
Not a courtesy runner, but a pinch runner at second. That's up high for ball 1. Pinch runner at second is Holden Finley in to run. That's up high, 2-0 the count. Don't know if Dirks is going to see anything to hit here or not. Wind and the pitch, and that's inside. 3-0 the count. So nobody working now in the bullpen. I don't know if the pitcher is ready or if this is just going to be, there's a strike call, 3-1 the count, or if this is just going to be on Robertson to finish this one regardless of the outcome. That's up high for ball 4. So Santiago will come to the plate with 1 out and the bases loaded. And I will tell you what I think about Santiago here. I have not seen anyone any more nonchalant at being able to hit a sac fly. He's not going to be swinging for the fence here. He's going to get a fly ball to score that run to win this game. Guys, who is that running down at first? Spencer Schmock running down at first base with a pinch run. That's up high, 1-0 the count. So Finley and Smock each pinch running, one at second, one at first. Comes the 1-0 pitch, and that ball's going to get away, and that's going to be a wild pitch for, so I guess I didn't quite call that, did I? So the walk-off wild pitch lets the run score.
KCC 14, Allen 4.
So 14-4.
Drive home safely.
That's going to be the ball game. The Blue Devils with the 14-4 lead. And the Blue Devils complete the sweep 13-6, 13-6, 10-0, and 14-4. 2 games yesterday, 2 games today. That's going to do it for me here at the KCK campus. The Blue Devils win 10-0 and 14-4 in this second one. That'll be it for the day. Please drive safely getting home. Have a happy Easter, and we'll see y'all next time.